The seventh and last of the churches in Revelation was in the city of Laodicea, which was east of Ephesus and Miletus, up the Meander River Valley, and its tributary, the Lycus River. It was a wealthy city, and that plays into what Jesus says about this church. He starts by saying in verse 14, "To the angel of the church in Laodicea, write, these are the words of the Amen, the faithful and true witness, the ruler of God's creation." Jesus is giving himself these titles: Amen, meaning true, and faithful. It's interesting here that Jesus calls himself a true witness. The Greek word is martyr. Nowadays, the word martyr is used for people who give their lives for a cause. But before that, the Greek word meant a witness, like a witness in court. It's not just a person who sees an event, but a person who testifies to what they have seen. Here, Jesus is saying that he is a true witness. He is giving faithful, reliable testimony to what he knows is true. And not only that, Jesus is also the ruler of God's creation. He knows what's going on, and he's the one in charge. All this may help give a context to what he says in verse 15. "I know your deeds, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were either one or the other. So, because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth." This seems to be a reference to the springs that were in the area around Laodicea. Some were hot mineral springs, promoted as being good for a person's health, to bathe in, not necessarily to drink. And other springs were of cool water, refreshing to drink. Now, Jesus tells the church in Laodicea that they were lukewarm. Some have taken this to mean lazy, lackadaisical, lacking in zeal. In this analogy, being hot is full of zeal. They are on fire for the Lord. And then at the other end of the spectrum is being cold, absolutely resistant to the Lord. But this would mean that Jesus is saying that he would actually like the Laodiceans better if they were his enemies. It's like a famous person who would rather have bad press than no press at all. They would rather people think badly of them than to ignore them. But I don't think that Jesus is saying he would really rather have us be enemies. There's nothing good about that. Instead, he seems to be saying that hot is good and cold is good. It's like those springs of water near the city. Hot water is good for one thing, cool water is good for another. But the Laodiceans are not particularly good for either purpose. It's like Jesus goes to a drinking fountain expecting a cool drink, and all he gets is some bland water that's only slightly hot. Yuck. He spits it out. "You guys are useless," he seems to be saying. "I know your deeds, and there's not really much there. You aren't being the kind of witness that I want you to be." So the question for us might be, are we being a faithful and true witness to Jesus? Are we doing something good and helpful?